Welcome to this brief introduction to professional writing. When you first enrolled in this professional writing class, you may have thought to yourself, what in the world does that entail? The title seems so vague. Or sometimes students just think about writing emails and letters and reports, boring. Actually, professional writing is a field of scholarship, just like biology, psychology, or literature. Let's discuss this a bit more. If you look up professional writing in Wikipedia, the definition is unsurprising. Quote, any type of writing that is written with intention of communicating with others in a professional and courteous manner to facilitate work. End of quote. Though this can be a useful definition, I'll argue here that it doesn't quite encapsulate professional writing very well, particularly in the 21st century. Let's break this definition down. There are 4 key words in this definition: writing, communication, professional, and courteous. Obviously, professional writing has to do with writing. But what exactly do we mean by writing? Print, digital, something else? Just alphanumeric text? Or does it include design? What if I turn something into a video? Is that writing? We often call this multimodal writing, or writing that uses many different modes of meaning, like sound, images, video, and such. And what about the influence of language or languages, or the influence of cultures? Much of what we read is informed by cultural context that's not available to all readers. Oftentimes, language and style that we understand is not always accessible to other audiences, even if everyone is writing in English. Writing is actually a very complex activity that can be approached in many different ways. We can also think about the process of writing. For example, think about the process of putting together a research paper or composing a Facebook post. What do you do to come up with ideas? How do you adapt your style? What options do you have for organizing your message? How does technology influence this process? Writing is much different now with word processing or even Google Docs than it was with the pen and paper. Or think about collaborative writing. More and more professional writing is actually a collaborative endeavor. How do we go about collaborating in effective ways? Finally, we can approach writing from the perspective of genre, or a kind of writing. Yes, emails, letters, and reports are all common kinds of writing, but what about new genres that we don't often think about, like Facebook posts or video resumes? How do we adapt to unfamiliar or emerging genres? Now, the purpose of writing is often considered to be communication. We often think of communication as one person transferring ideas or information to another person. This is called the transmission model of communication. But this seems overly simplified when you look at real-life communication. Yes, a person has an idea, argument, or information to convey to a specific person. That person chooses a channel, like an email or a letter, and constructs the message. The audience then sends feedback by acting or not acting on the message. But what about when there's more than one person involved? Or when there's more than one audience? Or when the social, psychological, or physical contexts shift? Things get really complicated when you stop to think about it. We also use writing for many more purposes than just communication. For example, we often use writing to think through our ideas. Have you ever started writing without knowing exactly what you are writing about, but discover your ideas as you write? This is quite common. We use writing to construct knowledge. How do we know something? Through all sorts of writing. We persuade people to act or change their view of the world. These are just a few other very important aspects of professional writing that go beyond communication. Now for the third part of our definition, professional. What profession are we talking about? Is writing the same in all professions? Here are just a few of the professional contexts we consider in professional writing: science writing, medical writing, business writing, journalism, public relations, technical writing, online writing, social media management, grant writing, activism, and politics. These are all things you'll find in our professional writing program. Think about it. Do doctors write the same way as business persons? How is writing instructions different from writing a press release? Finally, there's the last word, courteous. In professional writing, there is always a concern for audience, whether you are trying to persuade them or simply build a professional bond. In the US, we often expect professionals to be concise, to the point, and easy to follow. But does this always mean the same in all contexts? What does this mean to the computer engineer as compared to the business person? How might this be different for Chinese writers or European writers? This often leads us to think about broader ideas like usability, ethics, and copyright. So I hope you see now that the study of professional writing is far more complex than at first sight. Perhaps the most challenging aspect of professional writing lies in its ever-changing nature. Practices in professional writing are always in flux. The ways you'll be writing in 10 years have probably not even been invented yet. So let me offer you this new definition of professional writing. Professional writing is a field of study that examines how writing is used in professional settings to create knowledge, solve problems, and persuade audiences. This is the goal of the class, not to teach you formulas for writing or correct all your grammar mistakes, but to get you thinking about writing like a professional writer. I encourage you to begin to think about how this applies to your specific discipline and professional goals. How do you think this class will help you see writing in new ways? Thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts.